Naririnig pa ako? Paki-heart naman kung naririnig ako. Okay, sige, sige. Okay, tulad nung sinabi ko kanina, dito sa introduction, ito yung careful presentation natin kung bakit mahalaga yung ating ginagawang pag-aaral. Ano po, please take note of that. Ang goal natin kung bakit tayo nagsusulat ng introduction is to convince our readers the validity and the necessity of the study. Dito ilalagay natin yung kahalagahan ng pag-aaral, kung ano yung mga layunin o yung bakit ba natin isinasagawa ang ating research. Ano po, kasama yan dyan. At syempre, your research topic, considering the identified research variables na na-identify nyo based dun sa presentation natin ng topic at the same time, your title. Okay, in writing the introduction, kasi tulad ng sinabi ko kanina, it is a careful presentation of the importance and the validity of our research problem. Ang introduction functions as a mental roadmap. Tandaan nyo to ha. Introduction functions as a mental roadmap in addressing the four key questions. Ano po? Tandaan nyo na kapag kayo magsusulat ng introduction, i-consider nyo itong apat na questions na ito. Una is, what is the study all about? Tungkol saan ba ang iyong isinasagawang pag-aaral? What existing knowledge or findings do the other experts have on this topic? Ano na yung mga kasalukuyang pag-aaral o mga resulta ng mga isinagawang pag-aaral na nailathala na or nagawa na ng pag-aaral ukol dito sa topic na ito. So, yun yung mga questions na itatanong niyo sa introduction. Isa yon. What is the research gap? Ano po, yun yung it may sound cliche, ano ba talaga yung research gap? Ba't laging tinatanong ang research gap? At ito, ano yung mga lack of studies or limited knowledge when it comes to a certain topic or to a certain variable? Ano, na-discuss natin yung gap na yan. And how will my research contribute to new knowledge or fresh perspective on the subject? Ano, please take note of that. Yan din ang hahanapin ko kapag kayo ay nagsulat ng inyong introduction, kung paano nga ba. Wait lang. Okay. Please take note of this. What is the study all about? What existing knowledge or findings do the other experts have on this topic? What is the research gap and how will my research contribute to new knowledge or perspectives on the subject? Ano po, please take note of this. There are components of research introduction. May mga component na i-consider in writing the research introduction. The first is, you need to introduce the research problem or issue. The second is, you need to summarize existing knowledge and research related to the research problem. The third is, identify the gaps, the issues, the unresolved aspects in the current knowledge or research that your study aims to address. Number 4, state the research question, the hypothesis, and knowledge claim, situating your research within the identified gap in existing knowledge. And lastly is to emphasize the value and the relevance of your research. Ano po, paki-heart naman kung nakakasunod pa. Okay, thank you. Again, please take note of this. I-discuss natin yan isa-isa. Ano po? Unahin natin yung first component, which is the introduce the research problem or issue. Kapag pinag-usapan natin yung introduction, tulad ng sinabi ko kanina, it is a careful presentation of the necessity and the validity of the problem. Ang una dito ay, ayan, yung nakikita nyo yan. Ah, This is the title, example of the title. Ano po? International and Local Tourist Perception on the new tagline, Experience Puerto Galera of the Local Government Unit. Okay nga, based from the first component, do you think the sample first paragraph introduce the problem or the issue? Okay, basahin nyo muna. Okay, can someone read what is stated in the first paragraph? Can I ask Miss Charlene Ulila? Go ahead. To the entire study, providing.
Paborito ko nga pala ang bayabas.
Okay, thank you. Pakinig pa ako, paki-heart naman. Ayun, ito na, bagal ng internet. Go ahead. Tapusin mo. Okay, thank you. Um, who among you have watched the video that I uploaded on TikTok? Yung writing perfect introduction. Can you leave a heart reaction or emoji in this class? 'Di ba there are various ways or techniques in writing the introduction. We do have the TIOC approach, the trends, issues, objective and contribution. We do have the inverted pyramid approach, and we do have the deficiencies model by Creswell. But yung dinidiscuss natin ngayon, ito yung standard component. These are the standard components of writing the research introduction. Nangangahulugan na may iba't ibang technique tayo kung paano natin isusulat ang ating introduction ng ginagawa nating research. At ang una dito, yung i-introduce natin yung problem or issue. Dito sa part na to, tandaan nyo class, na dito mo ipapakita kung ano mismo yung problema ninyo or issue na gusto nyong solusyonan or na gusto nyong imbestigahan. At lagi tulad ng sinasabi ko, bakit kailangan natin tong pag-aralan? Ano ang concern nung study? 'Di ba? Yun yung ating goal. Bakit why there's a need to conduct the study? Ito yung sinasabi ko kanina that we need to establish or we need to let our research help readers to understand the necessity and the validity of the study na ginagawa natin. So, dapat dito, maipakita mo o madiscuss mo ng maayos yung problema o issue nung ginagawa mong pag-aaral. Sige, dyan sa example, international and local tourist perceptions of the new tagline, Experience Puerto Galera of the local government unit. Kung titingnan natin sa example, let us analyze. Ang tanong dito, kasi dito sa case ng example, ang tanong dito kung effective ba daw yung bagong tagline ng LGU na Experience Puerto Galera sa sa lenses or sa mga mata ng mga local and international tourists. What did you notice, 'di ba? Kung hindi ito relatable or hindi ito engaging, baka hindi mag-work ang branding strategy at masayang yung mga resources. 'Di ba? Those are the questions na pwede nating itanong kung hindi maganda yung tagline. So may possibility na hindi mag-work yung branding strategy or masayang yung resources na na inilalaan ng lokal na pamahalaan when it comes to promotion. So dito pa lang, dapat malinaw na kung ano yung issue or problem ninyo. Ano ba yung issue or problem dito? Diba? Nakita natin, what is the issue or problem here? What is the issue? Can someone answer my question? What is the issue here in the example? Ang issue dito ay kung, kasasabi ko lang, kung effective o kung yes, Miss Tienza. Okay, kung effective yung tagline na pinopropose ng LGU, which is Experience Puerto Galera. Ibig sabihin, that's the problem or the issue. Kasi kung hindi siya effective or hindi siya engaging for tourists, baka hindi mag-work yung branding strategy at masayang ang resources. Pero tingnan nyo dyan, ang example, the local government unit of Puerto Galera recently adopted the tourism tagline Experience Puerto Galera. While taglines are widely used to shape destination image and motivate visits, it is unclear whether this specific message aligns with how international and local tourists actually perceive the destination. If the tagline fails to evoke emotional and meaningful experiential cues or differs in effect between tourist groups, promotional resources may be inefficiently allocated and local tourism strategies may miss their intended audience. This study investigates how international versus local tourists interpret and evaluate the tagline and whether those perceptions influence their destination attitude and travel intention. Okay, please take note of that. Ang unang component or ang unang step is introduce the problem or issue. Nakita natin, inintroduce natin ang problem or issue. The next is we need to summarize existing knowledge and research related to the problem. What is meant by that? Anong ibig sabihin nito? To summarize existing knowledge and research related to the problem. Ibig sabihin dito, sa part na to, we're going to conduct initial review of related literature. Diba? Yun yung una ko laging, kung natatandaan nyo, yun yung unang step sa research. Yung pagbabasa talaga, even though you're not conducting literature to chapter 2, yet you need to conduct or you need to have your initial review of your study. Siyempre, dito sa part na to, you need to tell or you need to narrate doon sa mga naunang studies tungkol sa tourism slogan, destination branding, kasi yung tagline that could be considered as slogan, destination branding, at kung paano maapektuhan nito yung mga travel decisions ng mga turista. Ano po? Ibig sabihin, dito pa lang nag-identify na tayo ng mga gaps kasi we're already identifying what are those previous studies concerning or existing connected to the variable or the research problem that we are investigating or conducting. Dito sa example, sabi dyan, can you read the example? How about, can someone read? Yes, Marquez. Yes, Ken. Okay, thank you. Dito sa example, sinasabi dito, kasi if you're going to analyze, sinasabi ng mga researchers na ang branding or tagline or slogan ay napakalaking factor sa pag-build ng image ng isang lugar. Saan natin nakita yon? Dito pa lang sa una, 'di ba? Sabi dito, tourism literature shows destination taglines and slogan contribute to cognitive and affective components of destination image. Ibig sabihin dito, effective ang tagline kapag unique, ano pa, emotional, what else? Ano sabi dito? Kapag unique, emotional, and madaling i-visualize. Pero karamihan sa mga studies ay general lang. Walang specific study concerning an island, destination, or Puerto Galera. Ano po, ibig sabihin, already present an existing knowledge and research related to the problem that we are studying. Ano, please take note of that. Number 3 is identify the gaps, the issues, and unresolved aspects of research. Ano po, if you're going to look at this, naturo ko na naman yan sa inyo, yung identification of the research gaps. Existing research has examined slogan literature and the general mechanism by which slogan influence travel intention. Ito yung mga na-identify na gaps. Audience segmentation, context specificity, actionable outcomes. Ang ibig sabihin lamang ito, wala pang research na nagko-compare kasi ito yung na-identify na gaps. Ano po, ito yung mga unresolved aspects. Wala pang research na nagko-compare ng mga opinion or perception ng local and international tourists tungkol sa tourism, specifically yung experience Puerto Galera. Ibig sabihin, hindi pa rin natin alam kung may impact nga ba ito when it comes to decision making or sa travel intention na ginagawa ng mga turista. Ano po? Uh, mag-heart naman kayo kung kayo nakakasunod, or you can like or react man lang. Okay, let's have the fourth. State the research question, hypothesis, and knowledge claim. Ibig sabihin, we need to situate within the gap. Ano ang sinasabi dito? Kasi 'di ba tulad last time, kapag research question, ito yung mga tanong na sasagutin natin sa ating pag-aaral. Kapag naman hypothesis, ito yung prediction natin na pwede nating i-test, lalo na kapag qualitative. Kapag naman knowledge claim, ito yung mga new or additional knowledge or contribution na pwedeng idagdag sa current existing knowledge na meron tayo. Okay, can you please read what's in here? Mr. Belmonte. Okay, thank you. Ibig sabihin, we need to okay, thank you. Ibig sabihin at this point, we need to state the research question, the hypothesis, and the knowledge claim. We need to situate within the gap. If we're going to analyze the first statement or the first sentence, the opening statement in the paragraph states that this study aims to examine and compare how international and local tourists perceive the LGU's new tagline Experience Puerto Galera, focusing on vividness, uniqueness, and emotional appeal, and whether these perceptions influence destination, attitude, and travel intention. That's the first sentence of the paragraph. Ibig sabihin, the introduction sets the research question. Ano, binanggit niya. Sabi niya dito, it seeks to answer how the two groups differ in their perception and how this relate to travel behavior. And also the hypothesis um, was mentioned here. International tourists may find the tagline more vivid than locals, that stronger perception of uniqueness and emotional appeal lead to positive attitudes and intention, and prior experience moderates this relationship. And also, ang sabi dun sa last paragraph, differences between local and international tourists shape how experiential taglines work, contributing to both tourism, branding, literature, and policy making. Ano po, nakita nyo yung kaibahan ng research question with the hypothesis and with the knowledge claim after we identify the research gap. Ayun. And lastly, emphasize the value and the relevance of your research. Kailangan nyo ding ilagay yung kahalagahan or bakit ba isinasagawa yung pag-aaral. Bakit ba? Kasi ito yung part, dito sa part na to, we need to emphasize the value and the relevance of your research. Kasi ito yung sasagot to sa tanong, so what? Did you get that? So what? Bakit mahalaga yung study mo? Sino naman yung makikinabang ng ginagawa mong pag-aaral? Ano? In writing your introduction, you need to state that or isa sa mahalagang component yon na mailagay nyo sa inyong research introduction yung value and relevance ng research. Based dyan sa example, kanino daw ba valuable yung study? Siyempre, our primary respondent here is the international and local tourists about the new tagline. Ano po? Did you get that? Naunawaan? Again, let us take a review kung ano yung mga dapat ilagay sa introduction. Again, these are the components of research introduction. Please take note na itong limang ito dapat makita ko sa introduction kapag nagsulat kayo. Ano po? First, introduce the research problem or issue. Second is to summarize existing knowledge and research related to the research problem. The third is to identify the gaps, the issues, or unresolved aspects in the current knowledge or research that your study aims to address. The fourth is to state the research question, the hypothesis, the knowledge claim, situating your research within your identified gap in existing knowledge. And lastly, you need also to emphasize the value and relevance of your research. Did you get that? Are you able to take a screenshot of these components? Kasi dapat makita ko yan sa inyong isusulat na introduction. Do you have any question regarding these components? May tanong kayo? Malinaw? Okay, idadagdag ko lang yung discussion ko dun sa video ko sa TikTok, yung different techniques kung paano magsulat ng introduction, madaming technique. Ano po? Don't get confused, ito ay component. Ibig sabihin, itong components na to dapat laman ng introduction regardless kung anong napili yung technique, kung paano nyo ipopromote ay isusulat ang inyong research. Ang una dito is the deficiencies model. Napanood nyo ba yon yung deficiencies model na discuss doon ni Creswell? Ang una dito ay we have 5 parts doon sa deficiencies model. Napanood nyo ba? Una is the research problem. Please take note of that. Studies that have addressed the problem. Deficiencies in studies. Dito nyo nababanggitin yung research gap. And importance of the study for an audience. Dito na papasok kung sino yung makikinabang sa inyong research. Ano po? Di ba napansin nyo, nakikita nyo na itong deficiencies model ni Creswell, papasok dito yung components ng research introduction. And una, the research problem. Second is studies that have addressed the problem. The third is deficiencies in the studies. Ito yung mga research gaps, black or blind spot. At pang-apat, importance of the study for an audience. Sino ang magiging beneficiary or kung kanino mahalaga yung ginagawa niyong pag-aaral. At lastly, purpose statement. Ano po? Do you have any question regarding that? Please review yung video. Ano po? Balikan nyo yung video. Pwede nyo siyang panoorin. And the second we have is the TIOC approach. Ano nga po ang T? Ano ang I? Ano ang O? And ano ang C? Can someone tell the meaning of the acronym TIOC? Raise your hand kung napanood mo. Hello? Yes, Dessa.
Ang T po ay friends, ang I po ay issues, and ang O po ay objectives, and ang C po ay contribution.
Okay, thank you. That's correct. Ibig sabihin, pwede nyo gamitin itong TIOC approach. At kapag tinignan natin, ginamit natin yung TIOC approach, mapapansin nyo na nandun pa rin yung components ng research introduction. Again, tandaan, pag sinabing components, ito yung mahalagang bahagi ng introduction. Dapat nandun ito lahat. Regardless kung anong technique ang ginamit mo sa pagsulat ng iyong introduction. Ano po? Okay, yung sinabi dito, we do have the TIOC approach, the trends. Pag sinabing trends, ito ay step by step to ha. Ang una niyong babanggitin ay trends. Siyempre, T. Ano yung current situation about your topic? You can get, di ba napansin nyo? State the problem. Ano bang issue ng topic na ginagawa mo? You can provide citation na pwedeng makatulong to support na talagang yung problem na ginagawa mo ay existing, may patunay na problema talaga siya. At susuportahan niya ng letter I, which is issues. Dito naman, from the problem na binanggit mo kay trends, i-evaluate mo yung situation ng problem. So, you need to look for bakit kaya ganun? What are the research gaps of the study? Ano yung blind spot or black spot ng research na ginawa ng mga naunang nag-aral tungkol dito? Itatanong mo kung saan may kulang, saang part hindi na-explore ng mga previous researchers or scholars. Ano po? Kapag naman objectives. Ano ang purpose ng study na ginagawa mo? Ano ba ang objective nyo? Yun yung palagi kong tinatanong, what is your objective? Siyempre, di ba dun sa example kanina, to examine the perceptions of the two groups regarding the tagline, yung international. So, that's the objective. Dapat malinaw sa inyo, yun ang objective nyo. At dapat yung objective nyo align sa inyong research method. And lastly, the contribution letter. Sino makikinabang sa isinasagawa mong pag-aaral? Please take note of that. Sa inverted pyramid naman, from general to specific. Inverted pyramid approach, you need to state the general topic, the background. The second is to define the variables. Dapat sa inyo malinaw ang inyong variables. Sana at this point malinaw ang inyong variable. Ano po? Ano ba yung research variables ninyo? Then, you need to state facts, statistics, and legal basis. Please make sure na hindi obsolete yung mga legal basis natin. 5 years back. Ibig sabihin, 2025 ngayon, ang pinaka-late na citation ay 2021 or 2020. 2021 ang pinaka-late. Hindi ko natatanggapin yung 2020 pababa. Kaya dapat pag nag-cite kayo, ang tinutukoy ko dito ay mga peer-reviewed journals or studies sa hindi po kasama dito ang mga theories. Pag theories, okay na. Medyo may katandaan na mga theories. Ano po, and lastly, reasons for conducting the study. Tandaan nyo din, please take note of this. Kapag sa introduction, hindi ito paramihan ng pages. Ano po, tandaan na kapag introduction, lalo na ha, at kayo'y nasisipag mag-chat GPT. Nauunawaan ako? Mag-react nga kayo sa mga sinasabi ko. Hindi ko tatanggapin, kita ko kung kayo talaga ang gumawa niyan, hindi ko, babagsak ko talaga kayo sa research. Paulitin ko kayo sa simula. Kita ko kung generated yan ng AI. Please make sure ayokong sobrang haba ng introduction. 2 to 3 pages introduction will do. Please take note. 2 hanggang 3 pahina pwede sa introduction. Tandaan na kapag tayo nag-citations, pwede tayo mag-cite, pero wag niyong don't flood your introduction with lots of citation. Ibig sabihin, ng intro, sabi ko kanina, ito yung boses nyo bilang writer. So, I suggest to include 3 to 5 citations lang. Huwag niyong damihan. Ano po, yung tatlo, okay na yon. Introduction lang naman yon. Sa chapter 2 nyo na ilagay ang mga citations. Makakapag-start na kayo ng inyong introduction kasi you already have the topic. You already have the na-identify nyo na nga yung mga research gaps nyo at may statement of the problem na kayo. So, madali na ang pagsulat ng introduction kasi na-approve ko na yung inyong mga statement of the problem. Malinaw na sa inyo kung ano ang guide nyo. Tandaan, ang inyong goal then is to convince me as a reader na meron talagang immediate need to conduct the study. Ano po? Maliwanag yon. Ang common problem kasi sa pagsulat ng intro ay makalat, minsan naman sobrang haba, minsan sobrang ikli. Bawal po ang mga flowery at opinionated natin. Ano po? Bawal ang walang source. Bawal ang claim. Depende kung siya'y narrative. At syempre, refine your grammar. Check natin yan. Ano po? I suggest that every paragraph, 2 to 3 sentences lang kayo. Huwag masyadong mahaba ang sentences sa bawat paragraph. Again, I suggest to use the different techniques sa pagsulat ng inyong introduction. May iba't iba po tayong paraan sa pagsulat ng introduction. You can use TIOC approach, you can use deficiencies model, you can use the inverted pyramid. Yung iba sa first paragraph, doon sila nag-i-intro or yung main topic nila, yung main theme nila. Yung iba naman sa second paragraph, doon nila i-define yung variables. At doon sa third paragraph, doon nila nilalagay yung mga legal basis, yung mga batas, mga executive order. Yun, pwede yun sa third paragraph. Sa fourth paragraph, doon nila, kasi from general to specific, sa fourth paragraph, doon na nila nilolocalize yung problem. Doon sa pang-apat na talata, doon na nila sinisituate, which is Puerto Galera, ang ating setting, doon na nila iniisa-isa yung mga problema. At doon sa 4 to 8 paragraphs, kadalasan doon nagbabanggit ng iba pang mga kailangang sumuport sa problem. At yung huling paragraph or ito yung tinatawag commonly solution paragraph. Dito ini-introduce yung possible solution to the problem. 'Di ba? May mga suggested intervention kayo na in-identify you can include that sa last paragraph ay sa nine sa solution paragraph. I-define nyo yung solution nyo, bakit yun ang solution nyo, makakatulong ba yun doon sa problem nyo. At ang panghuli, tandaan, bago ang closing paragraph or yung huling paragraph, kailangan may solution paragraph. Again, solution paragraph muna or intervention paragraph, then closing paragraph or closing statement. Doon sa closing statement, doon napapasok yung the researchers wanted to determine. 'Di ba? Yun na. Kasi after you provide intervention, then magpo-provide naman kayo ng objective nyo. Bakit nyo siya gagawin or bakit nyo pinopropose yung intervention na yun. Nakuha ba yon? Naunawaan? Sige nga po, can you open your camera muna? Paki-open ng camera nung makakapag-open. How about the others? Are you still there? Okay. Kayanin nyo. Thank you, thank you. Okay, diretso na tayo sa research lokal. Ano po, mabilis lang naman to. Kasi we already have done with the discussion of the introduction. Tandaan na kapag research lokal, ito, sige nga, tandaan nyo to ha, please take note of this. When we talk about research lokal of your study, it is considered as the specific place or setting. Yan nandyan. When we talk about research lokal, it is a specific place or setting where a study is conducted or will be conducted and the data will be collected. Again, kapag sinabi nating research locale, specific physical place or setting where a study is conducted and data is collected. It can be a community, pwede rin siyang school or institution, pwede siyang workplace, or any defined area relevant to the research question. And its characteristics such as culture and demographics can significantly influence the study's methodology, findings, and conclusion. Tandaan nyo na kapag research lokal, saan gagawin yung inyong pag-aaral? Saan ba isasagawa? Ano, yun yung itanong natin. And you need to state that bakit doon isasagawa yung inyong research. Did you get that? Ano yung kahalagahan ng lugar kung bakit doon nyo siya gagawin yung study na focus ninyo? Nakuha yon? Nakuha tong research lokal? Ito ang example ng research lokal natin. Ayan. Sige nga, can you please read? Sino pang nandyan? Can you please raise your hand? Yes, Miss Shaira Malyari.
Example, the study will be conducted in Cavite, Philippines. Of course, that municipality with 2020 population for the 1,900 to 200. It is composed of 18 barangays, predominantly Tagalog 72.6%, with Ilagayan known as the largest indigenous group 12.6%, known as UNESCO Biospheric Reserve, Puerto Galera 65%, Island Campus 1/3 barangays, Marine Orbital 1/3 barangays, Central Road leads the economy, drawing both domestic and international visitors with its beaches, salt lakes, and cultural gardens. In 2024, Mimaropa recorded 2.8 million tourists, with Puerto Galera as one of the top destinations. During peak season, which is months Holy Week, the municipality received 20,000 visitors, including 52 tourists and foreigners from countries such as China, South Korea, Japan, Peru, and Vietnam.
Okay, ibig sabihin, this demographic and tourism characteristics make Puerto Galera a strategic locale for studying perceptions of the topic among both local and international tourists. Tandaan nyo na ang research lokal, sabi ko kanina, ay tumutukoy sa tiyak na lugar kung saan gaganapin ang inyong pag-aaral at kung saan nyo kukunin ang inyong data. Ano, please take note of that. Maaari kasi itong sa community, sa school, sa mga higher ed institutions, sa mga workplace, or pwede rin sa mga area kung saan may kaugnayan yung inyong mga research questions. At please take note na mahalaga ang pagpili ng setting ng study, specifically considering the characteristics of the location. Kung mahalaga ba yung demographics, yung economy, yung profile ng location, i-consider nyo po yon. Ano po? Nakuha ito? Did you get this? Naunawaan kung paano magsulat ng research lokal? Okay po. Okay. Sige po. Proceed tayo sa theoretical. Mag-end na yung meet. Can I create another Gmeet link para share, mag-join uli kayo doon? But before that, for the last time, may 5 minutes pa. May 4 minutes. Open your camera, mag-screenshot ako. Open po, open. Okay. Nakakasabay naman, nakakasunod. kayanin nyo, ha? Hindi yung laging kung saan-saan lang nag-generate ng mga sagot sa research. Okay, I'll send another link for the continuation of the discussion. Maybe it will last 30 minutes na lang, then we'll end the class na. Discuss ko lang yung theoretical framework. Join na lang ulit kayo. Magsisend ako ng link. At please take note na mahalaga ang pagpili ng setting ng study, specifically considering the characteristics of the location. Kung mahalaga ba yung demographics, yung economy, yung profile ng location, i-consider nyo po yun. Ano po? Nakuha ito? Did you get this? Naunawaan kung paano magsulat ng research lokal?